shot in the dark. That's what I feel like. I feel like we got blasted Willie Manchester style in the back by Netmarble. And I think that this is going to ring over in exactly the wrong way for all the right reasons. What am I talking about? TeamUp Collection. Holy shit, did we get done dirty on this goddamn thing. So let's take a look at TeamUp Collection, at least my first impressions. So that way you can get where I'm coming from on this. So you can see here, I've already been trying to find out what some of the effects look like inside the game and some of the things that requirements that you need to meet in order to do them. They seem to be the same across the board, and it becomes a very expensive upgrade to your themed implemented characters. So what do I mean by that? Let's take a look and dig deep. So for instance, with my Midnight Suns, I've already reached level 5 for my options here, and this is going to be the best place to show. But let me show you what the previous ones look like. So at every stage, essentially inside here, you're going to get a mission that you have to complete from stage 1 to 10. When you hit stage 3 is where you start to raise the flag and you go, what the fuck? Because it automatically starts asking you to reach rare uniform levels on certain costumes. So for instance, with Wolverine's clones, you can see here, it wants me to reach the rare level on 3 of his uniforms. Well, I don't happen to have one of his uniforms. And that uniform is going to cost me 1,750 crystals because he's a native tier 2 character. So in order to complete this, I would need to go and purchase this uniform and get Wolverine to tier 3. And the problem with this is that there's an innate boost that comes in for completing these missions and moving along. So let's talk about what that looks like. Okay, so essentially for all of these uniforms, they want me to have them at rare. I can't pass this limit because I don't have this one uniform at rare. So that means any of the additional applied effects I won't receive until I go in purchase this uniform. Well, what's the point of me purchasing Wolverine's clones other than this? So I'm basically paying 1,750 crystals or more, because I could be somewhere in the ballpark of, with this one right here at the very limit, it could be as easy as like 6,000 and then an additional, 2,000 crystals here. So 8,000 crystals just across this level. So that way I could receive the applied effect of, where was it? What was the applied effect? Of basically doing increased basic damage dealt to human or alien characters. I doubt people are going to choose inhuman characters, right? Inside that benefit, right? Now, does that make a lot of sense? Because I'm not using this uniform for the character. And you haven't incentivized me to have this uniform to be using it for the character. It's not like there's a transmog option for it or anything like that. It's just basically me purchasing the uniform at this point for that. So you basically offend any new player that's coming to the game that you might like. You might get a new player in the game right now that's jumping on and like, yo, I really want to play Marvel Future Fight. And then they're like, what the fuck is this? And then like, they're going to go around to the community asking people about the best uniform for Wolverine. And they're going to be like, well, the best uniform for Wolverine is this uniform right here. It's his most recent uniform. You want to be using XDef's Wolverine inside there. That's his best uniform. Is there any value to having any of the other Wolverine options uniforms? No, absolutely not. There are no benefits to having any of those uniforms. Matter of fact, going in to upgrade these uniforms aren't even worth it because there's no effects that you're going to get from those uniforms whatsoever. But alas, they want players to go back, so you're going to offend a number of free-to-play players, right? Then you're going to have a number of veteran players who probably may, like, I'm probably considered a veteran player. You're going to have like uniforms that we just skipped over and that we didn't want to purchase because they were pretty shit fucking uniforms. But now you're almost hamstringing me into purchasing those uniform options. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. But here goes the benefit of this. So I'm going to be basically losing out on the applied effects from this level on. I can't complete any levels post that. You can see here they want me to reach tier 2 with a number of these 10 of the X-Force characters inside here. That's easily accomplishable. Then they want me to reach heroic uniform levels for 8 uniforms, right? Then you want me to go and transcend these 3, transcend or reach tier 3 potential for these characters. So like for instance, Do I have a reason to transcend X23? Not really, I don't. But it's going to be costly to go in and do that. Then you want me to reach legendary uniforms. Yeah, legendary uniforms. And look at the characters that they have legendary uniforms here. So for instance, you want me to reach legendary uniform level for Cable in his old XForce uniform. Yeah, they really want you to do that. They want you to do that. That is a requirement now for you to do that. So you would basically have to go in here for a number of Cable uniforms, and these are tier 2. Cable, remember, is a native tier 2. Same thing, you get Deadpool inside here, right? So these uniforms that they have inside of here, they want you to reach tier 2 on them. And then for this, you're going to have to reach tier 3 transcended potential for a number of uniforms. Then you're going to have to reach mythic level uniforms on a lot of these. So essentially what your team up completion reward bonuses now are basically ways to get to, like, tie players' hands behind their back and basically put them into having to purchase old uniforms that have no innate value to them outside of just this team up collection. So ultimately, what are you applying those for? These are the effects that you basically have inside the game for the uniform options. So let's take a look, right? Because I'm going to start out with this one first. So at every level, you basically get somewhat the same options, the same team up options, regardless of the team. You get the ability here to choose between physical defense or energy defense. Nobody cares, really. Like it's energy and physical defense. That's at the first and second level. Then you get the ability to ignore target's dodge rate or to increase your dodge rate by about 5% and 7.5%. Each of these options can basically be increased and maxed out for gold, and it's pretty expensive in terms of gold cost. You can see here that we end up basically getting an application to mutant allies. So I'm a little confused about this one because it says to mutant allies. I thought it should have just been XForce allies, so I'm confused about that one. But lightning, fire resist, and cold resist. Well, you don't have a real reason to go lightning resist and fire resist. So you're probably going, I mean, it's cold resist. So you're probably going fire resist because that's GBR. That's World Boss Legend with Mephisto. I don't know of any of our world bosses and things like that where you need cold and lightning resist to, right? So bad options there. On level 4, you get the ability to increase basic damage to Inhumans, humans, or aliens. So obviously, like humans and aliens, there's some benefit there too. Inhumans, I don't know exactly why you would choose Inhumans as a character to do damage against. There's not that many Inhumans in the game, and there's not reason, like we don't have any world bosses that are Inhuman. So yeah, okay. Aliens, you probably have the benefit there because World Boss Ultimate and your because otherwise inside World Boss Ultimate you have like a lot of alien type characters, and then you have mutant type characters. There's no humans. The same is there for World Boss Legend, right? So then we come across here to level 5, and you get the ability to do damage to superhero faction, super villain faction, or increase basic damage dealt to boss types. I think for this game kind of content mode, the damage to boss types or super villains is going to be more of the thing that you want to go to. I think the basic damage to boss types though probably has the benefit over the super villain faction, just because like your boss types, like I can probably piggyback on this the super villain faction over boss types, because I can probably get the super villain faction damage to apply to my boss types, and to get this one to go to PvP. I'm not sure if boss type also applies to boss types inside of PvP. I'm not exactly sure. Stage 6, we get poison resist or mine resist. I really think everybody should just go mine resist inside that one. I think it at least applies where you get the mine resist, and then you can use that inside like Shadowlands at the very least. And I think you're going to have more characters for that there than you are going to have characters with poison resist. So then we get the decreased basic damage received from superhero faction, and we can see the basic damage received super villain, or we get the basic damage received from boss types. So you choose on those things as well. Next up, we get the instinct attack increase. I'm not a fan of instinct attack at all, but we get the increase of HP. We get the decreased additional pierce damage taken, or we can increase all resistances. At stage 9, we get the increase of fire damage, cold damage, or lightning damage for your mutants. So you're really picking between what your mutants are doing inside here. I'm not exactly sure mutants, like does Storm do cold damage? I think she might do cold damage inside of us. I know she does lightning damage, but does she do cold damage? I think she might. And then lastly, at stage 10, it's pretty much the same for all of the characters, where you get increase of physical attack, energy attack, or damage to all element damage for these. And these basically have incremental increases, like almost up to like about 10%. So they're a pretty good effect applies to your characters that could change some mitigations, and you're going to get those effects. It's now the weird part is it says it's supposed to be just X. These thematically are supposed to apply to XForce members basically, but you see that it says like mutant allies. So I guess your XForce members are given those bonuses to your mutant allies that they have as well. It's kind of hard to read. But okay, so what you're doing essentially as you complete these as well is you're collecting these collection tokens. So they're XForce tokens that you're collecting. And this is where I'm going to go back to the other one, because you'll notice over here to the right that you have essentially 18 levels that you're trying to work your way through, and you're needing to use those tokens in order to upgrade the next node in the mission. And every upgrade in a node, it represents a increase in terms of your attack values for either basic attacks or for pierce damage. So around stage 6, you start to notice that you start to get increases in additional pierce damage. So for instance, your cards already will give you a max value of additional pierce damage of about 25%. And then this will basically allow you to get over that hump with 35% pierce damage. And there you get a max out on your damage all the way to a max of 40 and 10. So for any of these team up completions, you get a bonus of 40 and 10. That's pretty substantial. If you remember when pierce damage was originally released on the cards, 10% of pierce damage meant you being like, able to accomplish, giant boss raid to Mamu, or not being able to do damage to giant boss raid to Mamu. It meant, you being able to accomplish certain levels of world boss legend, or not being able to accomplish the levels of world boss legend. So like, for instance, like Ultron and, Mephisto and even King, like you need those additional pierce damage levels. So this is where I'm going to pop back out over here to the Midnight Sun so you can see exactly where I'm going with this and why I mean that I feel like we got shot in the back. So now what you would look to do is add up the total number of tokens that you could accomplish. And now this is why I'm just saying this is an impression video of this team up, because I don't know enough to say until I complete a full one how this is going to play out, right? So for instance, I'm at stage 5 right now. So if we go back over to let's go to the Sinister 6. Nah, I guess I collected more of the Sinister 6 than I thought. Let's go back over to XForce. So right now I haven't done any upgrades. So between stage 1 and 2, I basically collected 8. So let me pull up a calculator here real quick, because I'm bad at math. So I'm gonna have to pull up a calculator for this, right? So we got a total of 8. So let's say 8 plus the 7 at the next level over here. So we got 8 plus 7, so we're at 15. Then we go 9, 11, and 13 plus 9 plus 11 plus 13, and we're at 48. 15, 17, and 20 plus 15 plus 17 plus 20. We're at 100 by stage 9, and so we get 125 tokens in total from the 10 clearance levels. 125 tokens. Okay, so let's go for this. Let's go over to the Sinister 6 so you can see where it is, right? So I've already collected the tokens for my Sinister. So like, for instance, I don't have heroic uniforms for, I'm missing out on one heroic uniform. I thought I T3'd you. I thought I transcended you. Apparently I didn't. But okay, so let's take a look. So basically at stage 1, in order to go to stage 2, you need 10 of these upgrade tokens for your Sinister 6 event. 10. So that's 10. I'll go to make that upgrade on stage 2 and it's good to go. Now at the next stage, I need 12. So that's 22 out of the 125 tokens that's given to me. So that means, okay, now I go in here and I upgrade that, right? So now I'm at 2% increase all basic attack for all of my Sinister 6. So now I'm going up to 14, right? 14. What uniform can I upgrade in here that I haven't upgraded to get these? Because nope, that's not going to matter because I've only got 2 of these and 13 is not going to help. So I've gone up to 14. So within just three levels of getting this up, I basically went 10, 12, 14. So that's 10 and 12, 22, 22 plus 14, 36. So I went 36 out of the 125 tokens that I was able to receive. I don't see in here any measure where they're giving us the ability where we're going to get new additional ways to earn tokens in here. But so let's pop out of here. So we're over here at the Midnight Suns, and this is where you can see, like, I'm wondering if the increments are going to go up further. So for instance, notice in here that I'm on the 3rd level of this, and that 3rd level, the next upgrade is costing me 16 tokens. So I went from 36, right, to an additional 16, right? So I'm essentially at 52. So I'm almost nearly half without even being a 1/3 of the way through the total 18 levels to get the max bonus. So the next level after this would be probably 18 tokens, right? So that's 52, 18. You get where I'm going with this? That's 70 tokens. So at literally half of the tokens that you give me for getting to the level 10 over here, not to talk about all the resources and the bullshit uniforms you want me to purchase, the non-usable uniforms that you want me to purchase, I'm essentially now having to go look at, like, hey, I'm not even a 1/3 of the way through and I'm already spent through more than half of my tokens that you've given me, with there being apparently no way to get additional tokens through free-to-play options. And notice that I said that, through free-to-play options. Now, what I want you to also notice is that I am literally getting a decrement in my upgrade success rate. Yes, my upgrade success rate is degrading as I go through. So at level 3, the next upgrade percentage, because it went from 1 to 2, and then let me see if it did it over here for Sinister 6. Yeah, so I got 2 levels, and within that 2 levels, it went to 90%. So reasonably, I could end up with another 10% decrease to 80%. I could end up with another 10% decrease to 70%. I could end up with another 10% decrease to 60, 50, and then 40 as I make my way over to 18. So what do you think is going to happen with the tokens that you're earning over here? Those tokens will likely be bought up. But hey, guess what? Guess what? While there's no option necessarily to be talked about in terms of collecting Sinister 6 tokens, because I went over here and I tried to take a look and see if there was like any changes to the Shield Academy in terms of the box rewards, to whether I could collect tokens for those characters or not inside here. I saw none. To trying to take a look at any of the crafting options inside here to see if those were included inside here now. No, they're not inside any of these at all either. To trying to take a look at all of the options that I was like, where are the options for me to earn these other rewards? Well, the only place for you to gain these tokens, because you can't earn them this way, right, is for you to come inside the shop, scroll over to the right, and notice that on sale over here are Midnight Suns team-up packs, Sinister 6 team-up packs, and XForce team-up packs. And so you can jump inside here, and for the price of $19.99, you can purchase tokens, which will give you some XP chips, some gold, and some crystals, but you can purchase those tokens. So for $50, I can get 280 tokens. So you have to be able to be smart enough to do the extrapolation of what that means now, right? So essentially, if I was to spend $50 inside of here, and you were saying that I'm going to spend $50 for 280 tokens, and I come back inside my TeamUp options, right? Because by the way, the only reason, the greater reason to the TeamUp bonus or a TeamUp collection is that you essentially, like, some of these effects inside of here specifically, when you look at them, they're not exactly like getting fire resist, cold resist, lightning resist. Like the lightning resist, like nobody's caring about those, right? Like increased basic damage dealt to certain allies. Like the max on this is 7.5%. These could have some like mitigating factors and increases. What you're really looking at though is that end option that this is going to supply over here, which is the 40 and 10, specifically the additional pierce damage. I only need to complete these over here if I'm unwilling to pay for the tokens over here. Because remember, if you're selling me 200, the ability to get 280 tokens, then that means that there's no reason for me to have these over here. So this is my first impression, because I don't know, maybe when you complete stage 10 on this, it recycles and gives me new missions to complete. I don't know how, but maybe. I don't know. So maybe. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. Maybe. I just don't know how, because I don't know how you go further by saying, like, if they reach Transcendent, if they reach Legendary, if they reach T4, then you've already taken out ways to say, like, well, this person's done this. But maybe there's missions that come up after this to say, like, complete world state, this many stages of world boss legend with Midnight Sun's character, or complete this many giant boss raid levels with this type, or complete, you know, the dispatch missions with these. I don't know. Maybe, you know, but the tokens are sat in here. And if I can purchase 280, which is nearly double the tokens that we have over here, then I could already skip out on a whole lot of this and get towards, you know, just that 40 and 10 split over here by just wailing out and going, hey, look, I'm gonna buy down on these, and I'm gonna get accelerated in on these, and these will just come in time and I'll have them there. So essentially what we have is so we got the X of Swords, we got the what are the detailed ones? I always forget them now. We've got cards, which you've heavily monetized that one. You've given me some type of work towards forward future free-to-play options there. We've given the sword ones. That one feels pretty free-to-play, but it feels like it's like, I don't know. I didn't like it. We got the Shield Archive, which felt like it was just, I don't know what the fuck's going on with the Shield Archive. Like, those bonuses don't feel like, I mean, look at it. This is Shield Archive, and most of the bonuses are inside of Instinct. So, whatever. Then we got our agent bonuses, and those don't really seem like they're really that impactful either. I mean, 551 in terms of HP. So like they're not a whole lot there. And now we get our team up collections, where we're going to get the attack and the pierce. And the pierce one is probably the biggest thing, right? Because the pierce damage is, you know, getting a 35% pierce damage instead of 25%. And we've seen the effect of just the difference between you having 12 or 10 and 12% pierce damage to you having 25% pierce damage. There's been gates basically for that you can basically see those. It feels really, really shitty and terrible. If I'm being 100% honest, just looking at this team up collection, there's nothing that's exciting me about it. It was an exciting thing to me at first to look at and go, oh, well, we could, you know, conceivably achieve more, and it gives me a measure. And I was like, well, that at least gives me something to work towards, and then I can go back and purchase uniform options, and these uniform options have some relevancy in some formal way. But now I'm looking down the barrel at this, and I'm like, this is pretty goddamn terrible. There's no way, with the amount of tokens currently being offered through the current levels that you currently have with the 10 levels, that there's going to be enough for me to cash out and complete the full 18 levels at the increasing token cost and the decreasing success rate for hitting new levels. Why do I have success rates, period, percentage success rates here? Why are these just not guaranteed? Why is this? You guys let me know in the comment section what you think below, but this seems like pretty shitty territory to me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, peace.